What's up? Alex Warner, and we're gonna review our round 3 game of Hogeschool Zeeland Vlissingen tournament, which I played last week. And in this game, I played against this guy Andre Galle the year before as well. I won that game. I do have to say, just like in game 1, I made a terrible mistake in this game. Although this guy rated 2002, didn't see the error. It was quite obvious, and I was kind of lucky for him to not see it, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I won. I mean, after the blunder or the miss, however you want to call it, it wasn't immediately over or something. It was in the ending, and I dropped a pawn somewhere where he could just take it. So that was kind of bad, but whatever. So he goes d4, and I saw in my preparation that he played this, and I had prepared a line, but I hadn't really prepared thoroughly. So if I would have prepared a bit better, I would have seen that if he was black, he plays the same line, which kind of negates the point of a good opening preparation, because he knows a lot of it. And yeah, I mean, it's not really it's not the best idea to play a line which the guy plays himself, because he'll just know a lot about it, and that's kind of just annoying. So I went for the Nimzo Indian, and I saw he played this Queen c2 and Bishop g5, which is kind of offbeat, but it's playable. It's not bad at all. It's not critical either, but so c5 takes, and now knight a6, and this is kind of useful. We want to take with the knight and then put our knight on e4. He goes a3, bishop takes, knight takes e5, but he just takes on f6, and we get another ending. That's kind of a theme in this game as well, in this tournament. I mean, I have a lot of endings. I think I have let's see, round 1, round 3, round 5, round 6, round 7, round 8 and round 9 are all endings. The game in round 4 was actually pretty cool, so that's next round. I don't want to hype you up or anything, but that was a pretty cool line. One sec, I need to crash, destroy a mosquito once. Yeah, so I paused the recording there. You'll be happy to know that I destroyed the mosquito. But I was saying, like, this ending, this guy plays this himself, and he figures this ending is never worse for white, which it's not. And but yeah, I'm kind of prone to get endings lately, in normal games at least, as pointed out by the games in my tournament, this tournament. So I took queen takes, g takes, and knight f3. Yeah, and in my preparations I saw that b4 is kind of the point here normally. Knight a4 is an idea, knight e4 is the other one, but knight e4, f3 and e4. So yeah, knight a4 probably, but he goes knight f6, so I figured b6 is useful. And he goes e3. I was kind of surprised that he didn't go for this b4 anywhere, but this knight d4 is actually kind of useful, because ideally I want to put my rook on c8 and then just either play d5 or bishop a6 and just have some pressure on this pawn. But the downside is, if I go rook fc8, then knight b5 might be annoying, and just knight d6, knight takes b7, and white is clearly never worse. So yeah, I went d5, but b4 is now the best move probably. The point being that the knight can't jump to e4 now, because f3, and if knight g5, h4, and the knight is trapped. So that's kind of annoying. If I can't go to e4, then I have to go to d7 probably. Because after this b6, the a4 square is really worse now for our knight to go. He can take here and then play f3 probably and put the pawn on e4 and he'll be happy. I think he should have done that. Instead he took, and still b4 is a move now. One thing to point out as well, what's the line again? Oh yeah, okay, so if e4, f3, knight d6 is not an option due to c5 here. That's kind of important as well. Takes, and c6, and the pawn is just such a massive, well, nuisance. But he went bishop e2. Obviously we can't take it to rook d1, g1. But yeah, we're just putting our pieces on normal squares. f5 just to stop on eventual f3, e4, and also to have a way of activating our king. And I don't really like this f3 idea actually. Because now e3 is a bit weak, and he's never really able to go e4 here. But yeah, I don't know. It has pros and cons. I just activated my rook, and now I played knight b3. Maybe it's better just to go king ga7, king f6 first, and see what he does. However, I thought this would be somewhat good because we're getting a rook on c2 probably. However, he just has bishop a6, and if rook c2 now, then rook f2. Just holding rook c1, rook f1, rook c2, rook f2, and there's nothing. So it's kind of I want to put my rook on c5 now to try and trap this bishop somehow. But it's kind of interesting to see if I want to have this rook on f1 or f2, so I can go rook c2 first and then go rook c5, or I can play rook c5 immediately. And I thought it would be better to go rook c5 immediately, because if my rook were to be on c5, we're defending this c1 square for the rook and also this d1 square with the bishop for the rook. So yeah, I went to c5 immediately. I don't know if there's any logic to it, any good logic that is. He went rook f2, and it's kind of obvious that he wants to go to d2 and then to d7. So we have to be quick. b5 doesn't really do anything yet, because we want to go b5, bishop a4, and then something like rook c6 and rook b6 or something like that. But it all doesn't really work yet. So let's just activate our king first and keep his rook out at the same time. But he just goes rook king f2, and yeah. Now I just tried to make something out of nothing, and he kinda was surprised of this move because he didn't really think of this idea, which is not really strange because it's a kind of a strange idea as well, because we're putting our pawn voluntarily on the fire line, so to speak. But what else is there? There's really nothing. Not a good idea. So yeah, bishop d5. He wants to go f4 because he wants to put his bishop on f3. So that's why I played bishop d5, and but he has the chance of going b4 now. Otherwise I'd go bishop c6, and then this bishop is in some trouble. So b4, rook c3, bishop takes b5, rook takes a2, and we're still nowhere. Although this pawn is now weak, and also this b4 pawn is potentially weak. He can just defend everything. He goes bishop d3, and now I went a6, and this is the blunder I was talking about at the start. So yeah, I should have gone rook b3 probably, although still bishop takes f5 is a threat. I had totally missed that threat actually. So I went a6, and he could just take this pawn, and it's not that bad actually, but he wins this pawn as well, which is kind of annoying. Bishop d3 is also an annoying move. So yeah, but he could just take a pawn, and then I have to scramble for a draw. He played h3 though, and I saw it immediately after a6. So I was like, let's just move our bishop out of the way and never think about that threat again. And now he goes b5. And if I want to have anything, if I want to have any chance of winning, I have to go a5 here. Although it's really scary because, well, on the one hand, we are creating a passed pawn on it, but on the other hand, his passed pawn is further, his passed pawn is defended, and he has an opening with the rook. Maybe. So yeah, we went a5, but it's really double-edged. And now he goes g4, which is still a good move. As you can see by the evaluation, it's a draw. Here I was thinking about if I wanted to go h6 or I wanted to go a4 immediately. But I think keeping a material on board is kinda smarter if you want to go for a win in a drawn position. I was pretty sure this was a draw objectively. So yeah. And he kinda goes for a bad idea. He wants to trade bishops here. But that's not really good. And also this rook c2 allowing my king to enter is not really good. Yeah, he should have went for bishop d1. Keep an eye out on this pawn, and if rook a1, just bishop f3. Bishop f3. a3, and now just b6. And he's just in time probably. Rook f2 even is good. King e4. I mean, there are a lot of good moves here to draw. King e4 I like the most, so I have to go rook b1, and then it's an easy draw. However, he goes rook c2, king d6, and now bishop f4, f3, and now this bishop trade is losing because this rook ending is much better with our active king. Rook b3. I think he was planning on playing rook c6, rook a6, so he goes rook c6, and I do have to activate our king. If king e7, then I'm way too passive and I have to hang on to those pawns, and now I can support our passed pawn in the future maybe. So we'll have a free rook. So I thought he'd go b6 here, and then king c6 with the idea of king b7 in the future. Was my plan. But he goes rook a8, and this is a fun move actually. We go king c5, and he plays king e4, which is probably just instantly losing. I thought he'd go b6 here, with the idea of if I take, he has rook b8, and if I take with the rook, he has rook takes a3. But I just have king c6. Also worth pointing out, this was the 40th move. After this move you get extra time, and he was in some time trouble here as well. But I think b6 would be the best practical chance, although king c6, even though it's the only move to win, I would have played it immediately. g5, h takes, g takes, king b7, rook a5, king takes b6, and we have decent winning chances. Maybe I can play h5 here as well, but I mean, that's another story. He played king e4, and this is just instantly losing because I just take, and rook b8 doesn't do anything. Also, yeah, what else is there? The king can't really do anything. King d4, I just go rook b4 check and rook a4. So yeah, that's kind of the ideal square for the rook in the rook ending behind the passed pawn. From both sides. As you can see, his rook is ideally placed behind my passed pawn, but if I put my rook behind it as well, then his rook can't sustain because he's a pawn down here. He goes for a last chance with king e5, but we just take and play rook f3. And this is an easy win now. King takes f7, rook takes f4, king takes e6. I was kind of looking at this line, but it's... I just missed we could take with check, probably. Anyways, king e6, rook... Well, not that one. Rook a4. And he resigned. I mean, rook b8, king somewhere. Rook b1, a2, rook a1. And now just a simple... Well, probably. I don't know, this one or something. It doesn't really matter. King f5 and just move our king up to b2. And we're never losing this pawn now, and that's why I want to put my rook on a6. So yeah, that's kind of the reason he resigned. I had to count this out though. Although it wasn't really hard. You just have to know in these endings that if the queen can go to the promotion square, then obviously he can never promote. So then you always win. So yeah, not a good game, but a win nonetheless. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next round. Bye bye.